Why does this matter? Because Triumph introduced side stands only in the 1940s, 50s. Before that, bikes were supported differently. This confirms the timeline. And here's the big thing. Steve has never used this bike in the MCU before. Remember this detail. The helmet. The helmet is brand new. Winged. A clear visual callback to Captain America, but subtle, not heroic. Almost restrained. The house and the suit. Steve reaches his house, opens a box. Inside, the Avengers Endgame suit. The fish scale texture confirms it. He takes it out, looks at it, then puts it back. Why? Because this Steve Rogers is done fighting. The child and Dr. Doom. And then comes the most important reveal. Steve Rogers has a child, which makes perfect sense. If he lived decades with Peggy, a child was inevitable. And this changes everything. Because Steve Rogers was a man with nothing to lose. Now, he has everything. And Dr. Doom's comic history tells us one thing clearly. He targets children. Fantastic Four. Alternate timelines. Animated universes. This is not random. Doom's motivation becomes personal. The two possibilities. There are two major theories here. Possibility 1. Alternate universe. Steve. A Steve similar to MCU Steve, but from a parallel timeline. Same events. Different consequences. This allows Marvel to avoid retconning Endgame. Possibility 2. This is the same Steve Rogers. And this is where it gets insane. He has the bike, the suit, the house, everything. Except one thing. The shield. Because Thanos broke it. And the old Steve gave the shield to Sam Wilson. So where did that shield come from? Bootstrap paradox. Steve gives the shield to Sam. Sam gives it back to Steve during Doomsday. And the loop continues. No origin, just an endless cycle. And if this Steve caused incursions while returning the Infinity Stones, then Doom didn't just lose his world. Steve Rogers caused it. Marvel has done secret trailers before, but never like this. This time, they didn't tease a movie. They teased a mistake. A mistake so dangerous that it threatens the entire MCU timeline. Because if this theory is true, the Avengers didn't fail in Endgame. They didn't win either. They broke reality itself. And Dr. Doom? He's not the villain. He's the consequence. Let's be clear. This is not a sequel to Endgame. This is Endgame's aftermath. Marvel has been quietly planting clues across. Loki, Multiverse of Madness, Quantumania, Deadpool and Wolverine? Yes, even that. All pointing to one truth. The multiverse isn't collapsing. It's being corrected. And corrections are always violent. The real damage of Endgame. Everyone focuses on the snap. Nobody talks about the returns. Steve Rogers didn't just return stones. He traveled through branching timelines, unstable realities, worlds that should not exist. And Marvel themselves confirmed. Even tiny changes create incursions. Now imagine this. Steve spends decades in one timeline. He marries. He builds a life. He has a child. That timeline was never meant to last. So what happens when the universe realizes someone stayed too long? It sends a fixer. Enter Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom isn't introduced like Thanos. No invasion. No speeches. No sky beams. He appears after worlds start dying. Because Doom's job isn't destruction. It's selection. In comics, Doom survives multiversal collapse by doing one thing better than anyone else. He understands the rules. While heroes react emotionally, Doom prepares logically. And here's the terrifying part. Doom doesn't blame Tony. He doesn't blame Strange. He blames Steve Rogers. Why Doom hates Steve? Specifically, Tony snapped. But Steve stayed. Tony made a sacrifice. Steve made a choice. And that choice created a child that shouldn't exist. A timeline that overstayed its welcome. A paradox with no beginning. From Doom's perspective, Steve Rogers is a virus. A good man. A noble man. But still, a threat. The child theory expanded. This child is not just emotional leverage. This child is temporal proof. A living contradiction. In Marvel lore, children born from altered timelines often become reality anchors, nexus beings, or multiversal keys, meaning, if Doom controls the child, he controls which universes survive. That's why Doom targets children, not because he's cruel, because their power. The shield returns, but not how you think. The shield isn't reforged, it's reclaimed. At some point during Doomsday, Sam Wilson gives it back, not because he fails, but because the symbol needs to go full circle. Captain America doesn't return to lead. He returns to end the loop. Steve doesn't fight Doom to win. He fights Doom to erase himself. The final twist. Doom isn't trying to rule everything. He's trying to build one perfect universe. One without paradoxes. One without gods playing hero. One without men staying where they shouldn't. And to do that, Steve Rogers must be removed from every timeline, including the one we love, ending line. So when Avengers Doomsday finally releases, don't ask, who dies? Ask this instead, which timeline gets erased? Because this time, saving the multiverse means losing Captain America forever. Climax. What this means, Marvel didn't say, Captain America returns. They said, Steve Rogers returns. That matters, because Steve might not be Captain America. He could be Nomad, a broken hero, or a man forced back into war. And if this is still the sacred timeline, then Kang was right. The loop never broke. And Avengers Doomsday is where it finally collapses. And this was teaser 1. Next week, Thor, then Dr. Doom. And this story will only get darker. Tell me your theory in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.